I bought a custom PS5 console for $850, and in this video, we're gonna unbox it, test it out, tear it down, and see if it's any good. All right, so basically I sent this guy this console and then he modded it and sent it back in the box. So it should be basically brand new other than the mods, but let's pull it out and see what's inside. Ooh, we got a little handwritten note. So this note's pretty nice. It says, "Hey man, thank you for allowing me opportunity to do a custom job on your PS5. It's for sure one of a kind now. I hope you're happy with it. It was a fun project. Take care unpacking it, minimize any chance of scratching it." All right, so first we'll pull out the box with the controller that already fell out. We also have this little remote control, which I assume is for the lights that are built into the console. And let's take a look at this controller because I believe he did a custom paint job on this thing. Let's go ahead and pull it out. Oh, okay. Ooh, dude, that's pretty sweet. It's got like that color shifting vibe to it, purple and blue. And yeah, this part right here is still the same. We got a silver touchpad, purple and blue on the sides. And ooh, silver on the back. Oh, that's clean. We got the little Sony logo on top. That's a nice touch. Yeah, I like that. That is pretty sweet. And then of course, next up, you got to pull out the console, which I'm gonna try to be careful with. And oh no, it came. Oh, it's magnetic. That's why it came out of place. Okay. I was like, what is going on here? Wait, that is actually. Dude, that's pretty sweet. Okay, hold on. Let me get this out of the way so I can look at it closer. All right, guys. So here it is. This is the custom PS5. Now, unfortunately, it looks like it came a little damaged in transit. Yeah, that's unfortunate. All right, so this glass piece right here is magnetized to these pieces here, but the magnets are super glued to it, but a couple of the magnets came loose. As you can tell, 1, 2, 3 of the magnets are just missing, which is a little unfortunate. But ignoring the glass for now, we do have the same vibe with the color shifting paint as the controller. So at this angle, it looks blue. At this angle, it looks purple. Oh, I don't know what kind of paint you call that, but that's pretty sweet. It does have like a little bit of a crackling effect to it, honestly. I don't know if that's intentional or if that just happened over time with the paint. I don't know, and some of it is actually scratched up a bit from, I guess, that glass bouncing around in transit. That's unfortunate. But overall, the paint job does still look really good. And it doesn't smell like paint, which is a good sign because most of the other custom consoles I've bought that were painted actually still smelled like paint. So I don't know anything about that process, but whatever curing process he did here, must have fixed that. Now, actually, let me take a closer look at this plate again. We do have, it does say PlayStation 5 on it, that's actually kind of cool. So this is essentially like a PlayStation 3 logo, but he threw in a 5 instead of a 3, which I like that. That's pretty cool. Now, of course, since the PlayStation Portal is out, now we got to pull this thing out for a size comparison. And my goodness, this Portal is almost as long as a PS5 console itself, which is amazing. But you know what the most frustrating thing about the PlayStation Portal is the fact that it came with a USB charging cable, but no power brick. But luckily, I have a great all-in-one solution for you that not only charges your PlayStation Portal. So this right here is the Ugreen Nexode 65-watt 7-in-1 charging station. And not only does it have 65 watts of USB power to charge your PlayStation Portal and other portable devices, but it also has 3 AC outlets. So basically, you could power your PS5, your Xbox Series X, and charge your PlayStation Portal and Nintendo Switch all at the same time. And if you're not looking for extra AC outlets, there's also the Ugreen Nexode 100-watt charger. And with 100 watts of power, you could charge your PlayStation Portal, your Nintendo Switch, iPhone, and custom Game Boy Advance all at the same time. And just for example, your Portal can charge up to 50% in under an hour with this charger. And you know how sometimes power bricks just get way too hot? Well, you don't need to worry about that with this charger because it has built-in sensors to monitor temperature. It also has an intelligent PMW chip to adjust power output to keep your devices safe. So if you guys want to level up your charging game, hit those links down below to get up to 50% off Ugreen products for Black Friday. Taking a closer look at the inside of this thing, it looks like he painted it, what do you call this, like gunmetal silver? Some sort of paint color like that. This little piece right here. We've got this piece around the fan right here. And these are, dude, this is really smooth. Oh yeah, that's a nice cut right there. So all these cuts are very smooth, look really good. I don't see any visible lights right off the bat. That's a common issue I see with a lot of custom consoles I buy where there's just like LED lights kind of strewn across the heat sinks like so and that sort of thing. It just looks ugly, but this looks really nice if you can get the glass fixed. Now, let's flip this thing over and see what the back side or bottom side looks like here. So pretty similar. We got the same type of paint where it looks blue at one angle and purple at the other angle, which I really like that color shifting kind of vibe to it. Now this side looks a little better. I don't think it hasn't gotten scratched up as much. There is still just like some wear and tear, which is expected. It is a custom console. It's not straight from factory. Let's take a look at the front here. So it looks like a standard PS5 in the front. You still got your of course, glossy black that's going to get scratched up immediately, of course. Now flip into the back. Ooh. Okay, the back has this like silver gunmetal kind of look going on as well, which I really like. It's almost the same color as the Batman PS4 console. I bought that brand new a long time ago when that came out in like 2014, I think. Now the one disappointing thing here is that this is a USB cable, which kind of, not gonna lie, kills the look a little bit. It's not a big deal if it's sitting in your entertainment system, but honestly, I think it's just a better look to splice these wires into the USB port or somewhere on the board to get power rather than just plugging it straight into USB. Yeah, so bottom's got this silver, kind of silver color going as well. Overall, the paint job looks really nice. My main issues so far are just the fact that the glass fell out of place, and we have a USB cord hanging on the back here. But let me see if I can try to fix this whole glass situation real quick. All right, guys, so I got some Gorilla Glue on these magnets to try to get them back in place so they at least stick there and I can get the full look. Now, I'm not sure why we're not using like screws or something in place of magnets here. I think that just would have obviously held it down together better and looked a little better and not have fallen apart like that. And a few other things I've noticed here, the painting on the front is actually like pretty bad. The crackling is just, it's all over it. I mean, it doesn't look terrible because it's kind of a cool design, but my worry is that down the line that might, keep cracking and just look really bad. Let's go ahead and wait for this to dry, and then we'll try to boot the console up and get the full effect here. So actually, I think I'll turn this thing on without getting the glass all the way down because as you can see, the glass is still coming apart. I think it's gonna take me forever to get some glue that actually dries and will actually stick because, I mean, as you can see, the glass is bending here, which it has to do because of the shape of the PS5, which means there's a lot of pressure pulling away from that glue on those magnets. So I don't know if I'll even be able to get it to stick long term. But I'll try that out later. We can get mostly the full effect here without it sticking all the way, but let's go ahead and plug this thing in and turn it on. Now I am curious what software version we're on because this is a brand new MW2 console which came out like a year and a half ago, so I don't know if it's old enough to be hackable, but let's check it out. Gotta put my glasses on for this one. We're on 5.1. That sounds old. Let's go ahead and look that up. Yeah, so it appears that 5.10 is not jailbreakable yet, but I might leave it on here just in case because it is still somewhat older software. Yeah, so in the end, this whole firmware thing didn't even matter because my console later on in rest mode just updated by itself without me knowing because apparently I didn't turn off a setting, which is just awesome. Now, what we haven't done yet is actually plug in our USB here and test out the lights. Okay, yeah, I can see some lights in there. Let me turn my studio lights off so we can see this a little better. All right, so I guess the reason I didn't see any LEDs in here is because they're hidden in the fan back this way. I'll take a picture and show you guys, but honestly, the lights don't add a whole lot. Like there's a little bit of light here, which is, it's kind of nice that it's not too overbearing with the lights. Here's what it looks like from the front, and you can see it's just like there's a little bit of light there in the middle, but nothing crazy. I don't know. Let's change some colors and stuff and just see what it looks like. All right, so this thing is actually this remote's kind of cool. It's got like a touchpad so you can change the lights on the fly with your little wheel right there. And you can also, of course, make it pulse and just do some other stuff. You can make it brighter, darker, all that just like standard LED stuff. Now, the other thing I will add here that I'm a little concerned about is the fact that we do have a pretty large gap between the console and the glass right here. And as you guys know, the standard PS5 is just obviously flat on the top so that the fan pushes air out the back, across the heatsink, so it's pushing that hot air out the back. I am a little concerned here that our fan's just gonna kind of leak out the top and our heat's just gonna sit here on the heat sinks and not actually get pushed out the back, which is probably okay because the PS5 is pretty heat efficient, except for this one's a little bit older. Not sure what model this is. So like, I don't know, that is a little bit concerning. It might cause issues over time. I'm actually curious what the heat sinks feel like right now. They're not that hot, but that's not surprising because we're on the main menu. So I just wanted to hop in here and say that it's kind of my fault this console has this design with the giant gaping hole between the plexiglass and the console. Basically, I found a picture of a very similar console on Instagram. I messaged the guy on Instagram and said, hey, can you make me one as well? And so he made me one. And in the end, I just didn't look closely enough at the first picture that there was a big hole between the plexiglass and the console. So I just didn't realize it. Obviously, I realize that now. So it's my fault. I asked that for that specific design. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. So I guess the real test is to play a game and just see how much heat we're pushing out here. But right now, I'm not feeling much heat out the back, which is kind of expected because first of all, we're on the main menu. Second of all, I think a lot of air is leaking out the top here. But let's play some Astro's Playroom and just see what happens. So yeah, I played some Astro's Playroom and the console is pushing out some hot air out the back. So it's probably fine. I'd just be a little concerned about more intensive games that are, really working the PS5 hard, like, the Final Fantasy game that came out recently that was known for pushing PS5s. That could cause issues on a console like this. But for now, it's okay. The heat sinks are getting hot, obviously, but I just think there's just probably a little too much air leaking out the top here. But honestly, we're not looking for maximum efficiency here. We're just looking for cool looks. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and do a thermal test here. So console here on the right is the custom PS5. Console on the left is a normal PS5, and I'll tell you right off the bat just to ignore the heat signature on the top of the custom PS5 because the reflections on the glass kind of mess up thermal readings, so just ignore that. But looking at the back, you can see on the custom PS5, in our hottest spot, we have almost 140 degrees, that's Fahrenheit, and then here on the normal PS5, our hottest spot is like 127, 128, and so basically that's like a 10-degree difference, and what I'm noticing is here on the normal console, there's lots of warm air that's being pushed out, which makes sense. That's how a normal console is. But on the custom console, we're getting lots of hot air that's being pushed out a little bit. And I mean, just putting my hand here, the air feels just a bit more stale, which makes sense because it's not being pushed out as quite as efficiently. But ultimately, I think you're probably fine on most normal, non-intensive games. But if you start playing some intensive games on this custom PS5 for long periods of time, I think you're going to probably run into some issues. So taking this thing apart will be interesting to say the least. First, of course, we're going to take off this piece right here that is still not glued together. Now, we of course need to take off our faceplates, but I'm not sure exactly. Oh, okay, they just popped right off yeah, it's not much left there, and you can see, okay, so we got kind of a paint ring around here, and the internal part is still white. I will say the cuts here are pretty nice, like they're nice and smooth, a whole lot nicer than most of the cuts I see on most custom consoles. So despite the flaws in this console, the cuts are very nice, very clean, from what I can see. All right, that one popped off a lot easier. And same deal here, still white on the inside. And, you know, looking at the inside of this thing, I really like the gunmetal silver. I don't know if that's what it's called, but that actually looks really nice all over the console. Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to just a gunmetal silver PS5 console. Like, it just looks nice. But let's go ahead and tear it all the way down and see what's going on inside of this thing. Oh, you know what's funny? The warranty seal is still here, although clearly peeled off. Might as well just leave it off. All right, let's try to remove this piece right here, and there we go. All right, so looking inside of this thing, let me show you where the LEDs start and end. So we have some LEDs kind of starting right there, and they run around the outside of the fan, essentially, all the way around here to the USB hub. USB hub transfers to a USB cable that plugs into the back. But yeah, so other than the LEDs you just saw here, I don't see anything else modified on this side of the console. No painting, no modifications, that sort of thing. I will say it is very clean. I've seen a lot of people that mod consoles and leave the inside of the console just dirty, which is kind of counterintuitive, so that's a plus here. It is very clean inside. Now, like I mentioned earlier, it would have been nice not to have this USB cable, which, by the way, there was a little piece that had to be cut out there to fit the USB cable at the back. But yeah, let's go ahead and flip this thing over and see what's going on the other side. So again, flipped over to this side, it's where most of the action is happening. Of course, you have your giant cutout here, you have your logo from the modder. I do like the heatsink design. It just like looks cool aesthetically through a glass window, so I think it's a cool idea. Let's go ahead and take this side off and just see what's going on underneath it. All right, got this whole piece off, and I will say the other very nice thing here is that we don't have LED wires straddling across multiple pieces, which is what most modders I've seen do, is where they have like LEDs straddled across the motherboard to the casing, and it's just really hard to take apart. So I'm looking into this whole USB cable situation a little bit more now, and yeah, there's definitely 4 pins in the port, there's 4 wires in the cable, there's 2 wires for data, 2 wires for power, and so I don't see why we couldn't have just wired it and soldered it into the port internally instead of, you know, plugging it in externally. I guess let me know down below if you have any differing opinions on that, or if you have an experience doing that. I feel like that would have been a bit cleaner. So overall, I'd give this custom console a 7 out of 10, and just for a little breakdown, I paid $500 for the console brand new, shipped it off to the guy, he modified it for $350, and I think for the result we got here, I think $350 was a bit steep, but I also don't know how much time he spent and how much time he put into it, that sort of thing. But again, let me know down below what you guys think, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.